Hi, Lakeshore. I am in Altoona, Pennsylvania on a farm that is the childhood location where Julie Nevel grew up. We're happy to have Julie with us today on Father's Day at Lakeshore. She is the author of the book, Asbury Lane. As I was praying and thinking about what we were going to do for Father's Day here at Lakeshore, I decided that I wanted to interview a father that I thought was leaving a tremendous legacy in this world and had done so in a godly way. And I read the book as it was being written. Sue Ann would give me sections of it to read, and I started reading it, and I started feeling like I really was getting to know Paul and Betty Nevel. And I was impressed by the way they handled life and the diversities they had to face, the struggles they had to face, the troubles that they went through, but also the great times that they shared together. And I thought, I bet he could give us some great insight about how to be a father that would be pleasing to God, it would be a blessing to his children and those coming behind them, and leave the kind of legacy that Paul is leaving on this earth. So I am happy to be able to spend some time with him here today. I happen to be with Paul here at the farm, and we're going to share some time together as he talks about some of those things that he experienced as they came to this farm and as the children grew up here and as they had their life together. He just turned 85 recently, is that correct, Paul?
Yes, it is.
In 85 years, he's got a lot of wisdom to share. So Paul, how did you feel when you first heard that your daughter Julie was going to write this book about you and Betty?
Truthfully, I thought the book would be about everything of her experiences, and instead of just about Betty and I. And of course I was happy about it and pleased that she did get the book written. And I think it's very interesting material. It's an enjoyable thing to be honored really that way.
Paul, what are some key things you remember maybe about your father or grandfather growing up that has really impacted you to help you be the man that you are today?
Well, they were both very hard workers. They weren't much for words, so I didn't have any big story to tell about what they had to say, but they were both very hard workers. They were Christians. My grandfather actually drew the plans to the church that we had for many, many years. He was a really great man. They had 15 children, and I don't think any of them ended in divorce or major troubles that I knew of.
Wow, that's quite a legacy in itself, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Our dad died very early, so we didn't never get a chance to be buddies, really. I was overseas and got a call that my dad was very, very ill, and they flew me home, but I was home about 3 days before he passed away. He was just 41 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. He didn't make us go to church, but if we didn't go to church, we didn't go anywhere else that day.
Paul, as I read the book, I know that you and Betty both faced a lot of challenges along the way. What would you say, in your mind, was the greatest challenge maybe you faced?
I never considered it a challenge when it happened. I just rolled with the punches and did what I had to do. And we were fortunate not to have major problems. We worked hard and loved each other and took care of the family and took them to church every day, every Sunday, and made sure that they were in the right paths, on the right paths. And, it was a good life.
Well, I wanted to thank you. I know as I read the book that you served our country in Korea, and I'm sure that was a challenging time as well, but we appreciate your time of service there.
It was challenging, but fortunately we didn't have any children. We were only married 3 months before I got the draft notice. So
right.
That was good that we didn't have a child to worry about at that time. And Betty did the very best she could do. She saved most of the money I sent home, and we had a nice little nest egg to start with. She's one of a kind too. Her wonderful wife.
Well, Paul, what would you say in the 85 years of life so far? We hope there's a lot more yet. What are your greatest accomplishments to this day?
Well, I really think my family, if I have to say one big thing, they've been great people, and we just so fortunate. And people would say, "What are you growing that farm?" And I would say, "Girls." And then when Jay came along, I had to change it to children.
Right.
It was great.
Well, that is quite a legacy when you raise your children up to know the Lord and honor the Lord in their lives. That speaks volumes. It does.
Every one of them was very good.
What I really enjoyed in the book too was reading about some of the family traditions you guys developed over the years. What would you say are some of your favorite family traditions?
The one that we started with the first child was at Christmas time. We had a Christmas play, and it expanded from there. They would make animals and carry on just like the first Christmas, and it was just we did every year for Christmas, and even the grandchildren have done this now.
Oh wow,
it's really nice.
Would you say that those traditions are part of what kind of ties the family together from generation to generation?
I would definitely say yes. I was thinking that one great time and many people miss is having a meal around a table. Instead of scattering around or eating in the television or different places in the home, we sat at a table almost every meal, and that was good.
A lot of good conversations end up taking place around the table, don't they?
Very definitely.
Well, Paul, I know that we've got a lot of dads in the audience here today, and I wanted to ask you, is there one particular advice, if you could only give one thing today, what would you say to them?
Stay close to your children. Many people just don't have that family unit, and that's part of the trouble with our country today, that a lot of fathers are absent and the children run wild. Just keep them and love them as much as you can.
Amen. Thank you, Paul. I want to thank you for this time together. I know that as I was thinking about what to do for Father's Day, a lot of other pastors were having celebrities come to their church and interviewing them. And I thought, well, of all the celebrities I know, the one I really admire the most is Paul Nevel. I just appreciate it as I learn more about your life, and getting to meet you now in person, I have even a greater appreciation for you and your family. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.